You are listening to Making It, the path to beauty industry greatness with Beautista, where we go behind the scenes to explore the human side of beauty professionals, learn how they found balance in their lives, overcame obstacles, and created communities that transcend the ordinary. Hosted by Beautista co-founders Jen and Matt Martinelli alongside Beautista representatives, Making It is your guide to navigating the ever-evolving world of beauty.
Welcome to Making It Your Backstage Path to Beauty. I'm April, and today we're joined by Cassie Hamel, the visionary behind Little Broken Things. With a passion for bridging the gap between hairstylists and artists, she has created nurturing locations for creativity to thrive. She focuses on building the brand, enhancing the education program, and fostering an authentic and inclusive environment. So tell me, do you feel like you've made it?
As a business owner or as a person, or what level?
All of the above.
No, I would say I kind of hope that I don't ever, because then what am I like striving for, I guess? Like, to me, that question kind of puts it at an end, you know, it kind of wraps it up. And I don't know that I would ever really want to be wrapped up, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense, because as what I sometimes call myself as a serial entrepreneur, I feel like there's always something more that I want, and I definitely can feed off that energy of if I've made it, then is this final? And I actually love that how you said, like, is that the end?
Yeah.
And so I can completely resonate with that.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're doing amazing things over there. And so I would love to hear a little bit of the backstory of how Little Broken Things came about.
So I have been in the industry for 20 years. I started when I was like 16 at a salon, shampooing hair, little old ladies rinsing perms and all that. And I loved it. I went to beauty school right after high school, and I've just been working at salons ever since. I've moved across the country. I lived in LA, Nashville, and then back home to Chicago. And I sort of, in my journey of working at I worked at barbershops, I worked at a chair rental place, I worked at like commission and all these different, like, you know, ways that you can salon, I guess. And I sort of along the way decided that I wanted to do it for myself, and I wanted to open a space that could be more than just a salon. I wanted art, I wanted community, I wanted, you know, pretty things to look at, creative things to look at, and I wanted to tie together hair and art, because I think as a stylist, it's important to feel that creative pulse as much as possible. So I moved back to Chicago in 2016 from traveling around. And then in 2017, I opened Little Broken Things in Logan Square neighborhood of Chicago.
Wow. And I love that you're bridging the gap between artists and hairstylists, because I think that is something that not everybody thinks about, right? And I love that you just touched upon that, like, you want to have that inspiration around for all types of artists, right? And that really kind of transfers over into hair as well. And so I know that so when did you open your salon?
2017, August of 2017 is when we first opened. Yeah.
Okay. And what was that like, opening a new salon?
It was super scary. So I only had 5 chairs in the beginning.
Okay.
And I had a clientele, and I had 2 like part-time people that had some clients as well. And we were just like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. 6 weeks later, I did have an electrical fire. So everything was cut really short.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I got a call. It was the day before Halloween. I got a call from my landlord's son. Oh, there's been a fire. Like, you need to come down. It's like not a big deal. So he was very like, it's okay. And so I went,
oh gosh,
I drive over and I'm like, okay, like maybe we need to just like clean up. I don't know what I was thinking. I was trying to be optimistic. And I pull up and I was just like, holy God. Like the windows were smashed out on all sides. Everything was knocked over. Everything was black, and the power was out. Like the fire department came and they knocked all the windows out and they put holes in the walls and they sprayed everything. So like what the fire didn't destroy, the firefighters did. And so I just walked in and I was like, this is not like, I don't even know what to feel right now. So it took us 11 months to reopen.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So in that time,
Oh my goodness. No.
I had a lot of time to think about what I was doing, why I was doing it. Should I continue to do it? So I rented a chair like 2 days a week, continued to do my clients while I dealt with the insurance companies and all of that, the contractors and all of that fun stuff. And then when I reopened, it was September of 2018. And I just reopened alone. It was just me. And I was like, let me just figure this out a little bit first. Because it was a big deal that I had 2 people working for me. I felt like a lot of weight from that because I was like, now what do they do? You know, like I couldn't really help them. And I didn't like that feeling. So reopened alone and I just hit the ground running. And I kept doing all the things, social media, the art gallery and the rotating consignment artists really helped with giving us content to post and people to tag and just building a creative community and like very low stakes for them to come and sell their stuff at my business. I was like, I have a storefront. I might as well use all these shelves and wall space for something. And I just kept hosting little events, little art galleries. A lot of my friends are artists, so that was really easy. And just, it was just a slow build until I could hire some, you know, more like established stylists, more experienced stylists. And then in 2019, things really started to go.
Wow. In a way, I almost feel like this fire did you a favor
Weirdly,
because it
yeah.
almost, yeah, like it gave you a moment where you jumped in head first,
Mhm.
right? And luckily, like no one was injured or anything like that.
Right.
Just, it was more of the headache and the chaos of, oh my goodness. And I would be with you too, that if I got a call from, my landlord that was like, hey, it's no big deal,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have imagined
Right.
broken windows and all those things. And then to feel like, oh my goodness, I just opened this. And I'm sure a piece of you, really put a lot of time and energy into that
Oh
location.
yeah.
And then to have it, just totally, in my mind, demolished in a way that it's like it wasn't repairable in that moment of just like, well, I can just clean up a little bit and start tomorrow. It
Mhm.
was like, oh no, we are shut down and having to start over. And I totally understand the, having that first feeling of having employees and then this happens
Right.
and feeling a bit of that responsibility of like, oh my goodness, I can't take care of them right at the moment because I don't have a place for them to work. And I'm sure that was just such a whirlwind. I mean, that must have been such a tough year
Yeah.
of just trying to figure things out. But I do love the fact that even though you questioned, it sounded like
Mhm.
during that time, because I can't imagine that, working with insurance and all of these things and just these hurdles that you have to have felt some level of defeat and questioning, should I be doing this? And then to come out a year later, you know what? Yes. And really, it sounds like this is how all of those pieces literally started to come together with, the community aspect of local artists. And I love that you just basically was like, well, I have, nothing on my walls. So
Right.
what a perfect opportunity. And I just feel like all of a sudden it just led you down this natural path
Mhm.
to really establish what you have created today that is just thriving. And I just absolutely love really how you've really connected all of those dots. So you basically a year later started to, get established and then started to look for more seasoned hairstylists to join your team. Walk me through a little bit of that. And then it sounds like it just exploded.
Yeah. So it's really hard to be new. Like I think people want to know that that you've got something going on and that you're invested and that you're like they need the momentum. I noticed this even when we do events and stuff. We'll do like a little pop-up and we'll do tinsel and braids and stuff like that at like local art events or whatever. And once there'll be no one And then all of a sudden, once there's one person, then two people, then three people, then you have a crowd. And it's like, what is that? Like, what is that like pulls people? It's like a magnetic field of interest or something. I had the time, so I just kept on social media. I kept on Instagram. I had a schedule that I did, and I would post, and tag and highlight and all this stuff. And then once I think we got a little bit of, I don't know, not a reputation, because I don't think we were even there
But it's
yet,
like,
but like
it's just
consistency and
traction.
traction.
Yeah.
And then, stylists started to sniff around that had more experience. And then I had a couple, of 2019 was pretty big. We started a TikTok. My apprentice Maggie started a TikTok for us, and that was really cute because we didn't know what we were doing at all, and we were just like, throw it on the internet. And then we had a couple, like, TikTok is such a weird platform where you just get in front of all these people, and so we got a lot of traction from that, and then more stylists, and it just like everything started to build on each other. We started an education program in 2021, so training and building out that side of our business. And so it's just been kind of building on itself this whole time. In 2022, we moved into this location that we're in now, which is a 10-chair salon. So we doubled our size. And then
Wow.
last month, September of 2024, I opened my second location in Palatine, which is a 12-chair salon.
Congratulations.
So it's just,
Yeah.
thank you. I believe in, I don't know, the universe, and I believe in like putting out what you get back, and just being consistent, like continuing on like the path. And luckily I'm still at a place where this is all really fun to me and really fulfilling, and that's really important,
I think that contributes to a lot of your success because you're bringing in such an energy that is fun and, just inviting. And I think that's one of the key things that you have really captured on. And maybe it was not intentional. I just think that what you've done is everything is so genuine and authentic and
Mm-hmm.
true to your heart that I love the fact that you're like, we just started a TikTok and we have no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the energy of just like diving in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And having no idea what you're doing, but you're having fun with it.
Yeah.
And that's what it starts to attract the right people. And I think that's so much of like how you're starting to find all of the people that belong right in your space,
Mm-hmm.
and really contributing to your success for sure. So as things have just grown, and I actually love the fact that you had all of this happen during the pandemic, because the pandemic for a lot of people was such a brake pedal for a lot of people. It seems like, you probably had some challenges, as many salons did, but I love that you had your growth during that time. And so walk me through a little bit of, have you found some, great onboarding tips or anything that you would share with our audience as you have just kind of figured things out?
So that I would say that's probably been one of the biggest challenges in owning a business, is finding people in general, but finding the right people is even more of a like niche thing. And for the longest time, it was word of mouth. There was zero platforms, Instagram, like, social media, and like you just hope that it gets to the right people. Craigslist was something that I tried, and that was always like super weird and felt weird to do, and like don't do that anymore. And then Canvas Me, which, do you guys have a new name now?
We do. We're now Beautista.
Beautista.
So,
Okay.
yes.
Huge for the industry. I can't tell you how many people I've told about Beautista, because there's been nothing like it. There is nothing like it. And it's been hugely successful for me as a salon owner. But I guess my onboarding tips or tricks, or what I've learned is, I try to get people in the space as many times as I can. So for any position, whether this is a receptionist, an assistant, a stylist, whatever, I try to get them to come in and just sit and talk, give them a tour, let them hang out for periods of time to see the flow, hear the conversations, meet some of my staff, kind of shadow a little bit. And I always want them to feel like they're interviewing us as much as we're interviewing them, because you're going to spend a lot of your time here. And I want you to feel like, I want you to feel it. I want you to feel like this is the place for you or not. And, you know, so I think that that's something really big that I lean on.
Well, and I think that's amazing because it's so true, right? We spend actually more time in our jobs most of the time than we do at home.
Right.
And it's one of those things where I often refer to it as like home shopping.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like get into the space. Can you visualize yourself here? Can you picture coming here, you know, a lot of times a week? And does it feel right? And I love that basically, I think you touched on something really important. You want them to interview you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I think that that is really such a great point because so often applicants probably don't have that mindset when really it is a two-way street. It needs to work for both, you know, parties. This really is stepping into, you know, we're going to share a space together.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to, you know, our energies are going to be working next to each other and things like that. So it's really important that they take the time to, you know, really get to know you, the space, the other employees that are there. Does it feel right for them? So I actually really love that you're doing that.
Yeah, I think too, having more than one conversation, because, and changing rooms, like changing, because anyone in an interview is like trying to give you the answers that you want to hear. And it can be sort of, you know, scripted and not organic or feel organic. So I think moving around, and for stylists in general, like we're more visual, we're more like, we need to use our senses and just move around. And, you know, I think an environment is very important for a creative person. So I think just spending more time together and talking for longer and not just asking questions on a list, but, you know, nailing some of those as well, but also weaving in more personalized questions or just asking them about themselves. It kind of, you know, they'll put their guard down and just speak a little bit more naturally. And I think that that's important too.
100%,
Yeah.
because it is something that's just so unnatural. I mean, being in this industry, we're creative professionals,
Mm-hmm.
right? So to have that structure, you know, yes, interviews are important, but in this idea of this industry, when we think of interviews, I think we often associate with like a corporate mentality, and it is just not what this industry is.
Right.
Let's be honest. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when we are like, you know, what are the top 5 things that you want to, you know,
Yeah.
those questions I think are just so not natural for the creative professional. It is more about finding out their personality, you know, what are they passionate about? Do their values align with yours?
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are really key things to helping people find, is this the right fit? And you'll also learn that as well with more of a natural flow of a conversation. So I think that is such great advice. What are you finding as you are interviewing applicants? What are you finding that they're asking for? Is there something that they're consistently asking for, that they're looking for?
Well, I think just given the nature of our business or the culture here at Little Broken Things, a lot of what I hear is they want to be creatively fulfilled, and they want to be like, education is a really big thing, like learning new things, having that available to them, being surrounded by people that are also learning new things. And I think just like the movement, you know, like not just sitting still or having like nowhere to go. Like I don't think it's necessarily like I want to, it's like growth. Like people are looking for like room to grow and sort of be involved with more things. I think like we do a lot of events. We do a lot of, we host events. We have we have rotating artists. So we have openings for them and being involved in things like that. We also host hair jams a couple times a year. So we do a Halloween one and a midsummer one where we dress up, and it's really fun. And I think stuff like that where they can be at work, but it's like more, it feels like more.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I think healthcare and basic benefits are something that is still relatively new to our industry, and I think that's something that I've been able to offer in this past year, and I'm really proud of that fact. And I think that it means a lot to stylists that want to build their career, or apprentices that want to come and build their careers, to know that there is like a future for them, and they can have a retirement plan. And that's like something that, it's even me as a stylist for 20 years, I would never think of that, of having that, that's an option for me. So I think treating the industry more like a career path is something that is becoming more and more important to all of us.
Yes. And I just want to kind of touch back on, I think the benefits is, that's great to that you're be able to offer that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that is, you're really kind of setting a new standard, because, that is something that was never really associated with this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you're saying before of what applicants are looking for is it's kind of going back to the opening question. If you were to ask them, do you feel like they've made it, would they panic of like, is this the end?
Right.
And they don't want to have that ending. They want to know
Yeah.
that there's opportunity to grow. And I think you're hosting such a great foundation for them to really explore their creativity and know that there is ongoing education and support to really kind of keep that going, because I think you embody that energy, that you want that constant of like,
Yeah.
what is around the corner,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever that may look like for you, right? It may be more locations. It could be diving more into education. Actually, that's a great question. What are some of your goals?
For the business, or for myself, or
Yeah, or
both?
just in general. Yeah.
Well, I feel really great about having two locations. I think that um, I don't, I don't know about more right at this moment, because I'm still riding the wave of the second one. Um, but I do really love the sense of community that it brings being in the suburbs. Like it feels like a different thing because of the location. So it is almost like starting over, even though it's the second location. They're so far apart that it is like I have to build up from ground zero again. And I really like that part, as weird as that sounds. Like it's like I like the marketing, and I like seeing what works, and what, like it's new, and it just feels good to get people kind of next to each other. Like I like being
Yeah.
the curator of bringing people together. So that's really fulfilling and rewarding. I would love to uh, coach at some point. I've worked with several different coaches that were all like very different styles and very different energies. And I think that there's something that's it's so like, it can be so isolating as a business owner. There's no one
Mhm.
that you really have to bounce things off of. So anytime I found myself going to a coach, it's because I've reached a point where I'm like, what is next? It's like a check-in, and then okay, go forward, and then you have people like your accountant and your lawyers and your, businessy people, but it's not the same as someone that's in your industry and has been through the same struggles that you've been through. And so I feel like at a certain point, whenever I have time, which who knows when that will be at this point, we talked about that earlier. But I would love to just be able to be like a sounding board, like here's what I've been through, or what are you going through? Here's how I could help or give back, or whatever. Just like more one-on-one, sort of personalized um, coaching.
Yeah, I can totally see you doing that, especially with your experience already of, being behind the chair for 20 years and
Mm-hmm.
then opening your own salon. But your salon is such its own thing. And I love that, because you're really kind of breaking the norm. And then also to then opening a second location. And I love the fact that you really find fulfillment in creating community.
Yeah.
And I think that I can totally see that, although it's like starting over with a second location, there's a thrill in bringing something new to an area and just seeing how people are gravitating towards it and finding the right clientele, the right staff. All of those pieces are starting to come together. And I can totally see that your future ideas and goals of being a sounding board for people of who may be in your shoes, in, your younger self, and being like, okay, come ask me, I'm here to help kind of guide you through different things. And I can give you some of my experience, but also, just kind of let you take that information and do what you want with it. And I think I can totally see you doing that.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. So, tell me, what do you feel is your purpose?
So again, I would ask, like, in business or in life in general, or all of it?
Overall, all of it.
My purpose. Well, I have a son. I had my son Jack during COVID. He was born in April of 2020. So my maternity leave was essentially lockdown. So another weird timing thing in my life. But
another synchronicity, yes.
So obviously, when you have a human that you are taking care of, and everything shifts, everything in your whole life. So I think that I've continued to keep my my goals in line with business, where I don't think that having a kid has slowed me down at all. I think that it's in a lot of ways, it's caused me to like prioritize and manage my time better, which is maybe a good thing, because I feel like I could have easily just worked every day, every minute, all the time, and just like obsessive, like unhealthily done that, and that would have been no good for anyone. But I would say my purpose in business, I really like to help people find their purpose, like helping them find their strengths and putting them in a position where they can level up, or they could find maybe an avenue that they didn't know was there before, or just putting them in positions or in front of opportunities that maybe they couldn't gotten there on their own. And then I think purpose is to just be a good mom and a good partner, and like have a healthy and solid family foundation, and do both well, is like the ultimate goal, I think.
Yeah. That's amazing. And we all know that does not come easily. And I think that it is a beautiful thing that you're doing. And I do think that you are, even though you may be incredibly busy, I think you are finding a way to do all of those things. And I just cannot thank you enough for doing this with us. And I really appreciate your time. And is there any last tips or advice you would want to share with any of our listeners?
Just do it. I don't know. I think that anytime that it's a blessing and a curse on my end, because I do just jump in head first. But anytime that I was supposed to slow down, I was slowed down, but I never stopped. And I think that if you want to do it, you should do it and keep doing it, because it won't stop until you stop, right?
100%.
That's what I've been riding off of this whole time. So.
Well, and it's magnetic. So whatever you're doing, keep doing.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Making It, the path to beauty industry greatness with Beautista. Our mission is to give you a voice, help you find your place of belonging, and empower you to thrive in this beautiful industry. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that will fuel your own journey in your career. Head over to Beautista.com and unlock the next chapter of your beauty journey. Create your portfolio, showcase your unique talents, and connect with a community that understands and celebrates your story. Subscribe to Making It for more inspiring stories, and let's continue making it together.